Man. Man. M-A-N. M-A-N. A grown-up male human being. A grown-up male human being. There are also other definitions of man. An individual person. People in general. Mankind. Early man lived by hunting. And then you have the fourth definition, a piece used in chess or some other board game. So you have quite a few definitions of man here. And what is a man? I mean, it's defined here as a grown-up male human being, but in today's world, you cannot really define man as a distinct individual in the types of person, because there are many situations where people play the role of a man, and as you can see in the illustration there that I've drawn there, those are just general visual representations of what a man is and what is defined as a man. And in the dictionary, again, the spelling of man is M-A-N. M-A-N. Man. A grown-up male human being. That's the first definition. The second definition is an individual person. Third definition, people in general, mankind. Early man lived by hunting. What they mean by that is when somebody is explaining something, it depends on the context of what they mean by man. And that third definition, where they say people in general, mankind, meaning man from thousands of years ago, man from antiquity times. The people of antiquity, they were hunter gatherers. Before we established a organized situation, they were hunter gatherers, and this is what they referred to as man. That's the definition in the dictionary, as well as the fourth one, which is a piece used in chess or some other board game. And then there is also another definition here. Man, verb, mans, manning, manned. To provide a piece or machine with the people to run or work it. Man the pumps. Man the car. Man the controls. When you hear somebody say, man the controls or something, when it's very frantic. Man the controls. Man the speedboat. What other situations do people ask somebody to man something? But you see the context there. Man the controls. Man the pumps. And that's what the third definition, the other definition here, as a verb. Sorry, this is where I'm making a mistake. In the dictionary, you have two definitions of man. Man as man the noun, and man as the verb. Man as the noun, you got those four. Again, I'll repeat them. A grown-up male human being. 2. An individual person. 3. People in general. Mankind. Early man lived by hunting. And then 4. A piece used in chess or some other board game. And now you have the verb definition of man. To provide a piece or machine with the people to run or work it. Man the pumps. Man the controls. And those are the definition of man in the dictionary. But like I've said, in today's world, there's so many situations where people are able to assume these roles. It's not just a male as per se who can man the controls, man the pumps. Everybody can assume these roles nowadays, and this is how vast and broad we've from hunter gatherers to where we are today. This is how far we've come, where people can assume these roles. And that's the definition of man, right? And if you look at the illustration, those are just outlines of the general representation of what a man, men are really in those images, and they're very basic. But we're trying our best here to still configure this thing out. Trying to sort out what's the best way to approach this and how to illustrate this. So again, the whole purpose of the summary is I define those words earlier in the week, and then I summarize them here as best as I can, straight from the dictionary. And I can go onto the internet and look at various pictures of men, and you see exactly what you see on there. And if you were to compare the illustrations as well as the pictures on the internet, my illustrations are still a bit amateuristic. Again, I'm still figuring things out at the moment. It's quite hard to manage the time as well as to create, and I'm having to create this stuff from scratch. So, and also trying to define this thing straight from head rather than the dictionary. So you're gonna have to bear with me, guys. So that's the first word that I did was man, MAN, man. And the second word is bottle, 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 bottle. And now what I've learned here, you have the noun definition, and then you have the verb definition of bottle. What is my definition of a bottle? A bottle is a container that contains a liquid. That's what a bottle is used for. And over my lifetime, I have used over thousands of bottles, from glass bottles to plastic bottles to even bottles nowadays that are being made out of paper. That's how advanced bottles have become. You got bottles that are being made out of paper. That's how strong the material has become. Normally, you wouldn't affiliate something as a bottle with paper, but there are bottles out there that are made out of paper, and it does work. There is no leakage. It's just what it is. That's the way they are manufacturing things nowadays. Now, like I said, over my lifetime, I've used thousands and thousands of bottles. I mean, they've contained various types of liquids, from fizzy drinks to water, and that's what mainly they're used for, is fizzy drinks, water. They're used for beverages bottles, to define the whole thing as one whole. I don't wanna split them into their individual characteristics. So I'll just define it as one whole thing, which is beverages. Bottles are used for beverage, but as well as stuff like cooking oil. When you want to buy like the frying oil and other oils, other more industrialized oils, thinking more of like oil that which you put into the car engine. That right there is contained in a bottle, as well as other substances. So if you were to look at all the various substances that are kept in bottles, it's a wide spectrum, from stuff that people consume to stuff that's very, very acidic, stuff that could be stuff that's used for machines, stuff that's very potent. So it's a vast range amount of liquids that are stored in bottles, and that's the whole purpose of a bottle, is to store a liquid. That's the word I was looking for. It's to store a liquid, not beverages. Sorry. For human consumption, you can say beverages. For use, you can say just different liquids, different substances. And then you got the use for machines, and then they have other aspects. Like an example is hand gel. Hand gel is also kept. Hand gel, a sanitizer. It's used to kill bacteria and all these various aspects, and that's kept in a bottle, as well as all the other medical liquids that they use in hospitals or other applications or other situations. Those are all kept in bottles. And then you have stuff like I said, car engine oil, or maybe if you run out of fuel, you need to buy some more fuel, but you're broken down out in the middle of nowhere, far away from a filling station, far away from a petrol station. You're gonna have to buy a bottle and then put the petrol or the diesel or whatever you're using in that bottle, and then carry it to your car. So you have those type of liquids that are used that are used for machines, but those liquids are kept in bottles. You see the definition? Those are my definitions. I know a bit shabby, but again, from the dictionary, you have the noun, and then you have the verb. Now, the spelling of bottle is BOTTLE. BOTTLE. Noun. A narrow-necked container for liquids. That's the first definition. And now the second one is informal courage. She showed a lot of bottle. Interesting. See, they use the bottle to define a characteristic or something, a situation. Informal courage. She showed a lot of bottle. See, that has nothing to do with the context of the actual item, the actual object, the bottle, but it's defined as that in the dictionary as a noun. And then we have the verb here, bottle as well, to put or store something in bottles. Interesting. See, I'm learning as I'm going. To put or store something in bottles. So you use the word bottle it. Okay. And then reading further, it says bottle something up. If you bottle up your feelings, you keep them to yourself. That's a good way to define them. If you bottle up your feelings, you keep them to yourself. So you can use the term bottle in such situations. If you can say you can bottle up your feelings, bottle up the car. I don't think that really works. Bottle up the drink. Yeah, you definitely will bottle up the drink if you want to store it and consume it a little bit later on. But that's the noun definition. So that's the verb. That's the verb for bottle. So you have the noun, and then you have verb. So it's interesting. You know, I just learned something new as I'm reading this out. So again, my definition of bottle is a container, an object that you use to store liquid. And there's so many liquids out there in the world. Not technically just liquids. I'm pretty sure they also store gases as well in bottles. I mean, if you freeze, if you put water in a bottle and you freeze it, well, you have a solid as well there. So you have a solid that's inside the bottle, and then you have the liquid, which is when it's not frozen. And then I'm pretty sure you can store gases as well in bottles. But I'm not too sure about that. That's something I have to look at a little bit later on. But I'm pretty sure they also store gases in bottles as well. Again, like I said, it's a huge spectrum of liquids out there, from beverages which people consume, you know, fizzy drinks, water. When you go out into town, there's all different types of drinks that you are going to consume, to liquids that you use for cooking oil. There'll be sour sauce. There'll be sauces themselves, chili sauces. What else is stored? Even stuff like, you know, liquid cheese and stuff like that. If you somebody who's quite professional, proficient in culinary, as in cooking, then you know all the different things, all the different liquids that are kept in bottles that you use to prepare the meal. And then on top of that, other liquid substances that you will add on top of the meal as you are eating. Those are all kept in bottles, and those are all for consumption for people. And then you got stuff, the liquids that are kept in machines. Sorry, the liquids that are kept in bottles for machines. An example being a car engine. A car engine needs oil. It needs the thick brown type oil to keep it nice and lubricated and moving smoothly, and that's kept in bottle. It needs a windscreen wash, that's kept in a bottle. It needs It needs other. It needs other. There'll be way more liquids in the car other than just engine oil and screen wash. But everything that's liquid that's gonna be put in the car is kept in a bottle. And then moving on to the more sophisticated liquid, like the stuff they use for chemistry. They need to put that stuff in. They need to store that liquid somewhere, right? And the way they're storing them is in a bottle. They'll be stored in the those glass bottles. Those ones that they use for. An example would be like a magic spell. When somebody's mixing up a magic concoction of some sort, where they get all these different bottles which have different colored substances in them, from red, blue, green, and they pour it into the big massive pot, and then you get all the sparkling effects and whatnot, and the steering, and it becomes this potion. A good example is, that's the word I was looking for. A good example is a potion. When somebody's mixing up a potion, once they've created the potion, they store that potion in a bottle, and then you see them when they drink the potion, and suddenly they have all these magical powers. So that's the use of a bottle right there. That is a bottle right there, at its very simplest. And for me, the one thing I use a bottle for every day is water. It's important to drink a lot of water, and you need to store the liquid somewhere. And for me, I have a small bottle where I keep my water, so it's not. I mean, I could put it in a cup, but then it's out and exposed in the air, and I will want to drink that water later on. So I use a bottle to store the water. I can take the bottle with me anywhere. That's the best thing about the bottle. It unless the lid is not completely tight on, the water does not spill. So I can store the water for days and days and days. That's also one of the best things of the bottle is it allows for storage of the liquid. That's the main primary use of a bottle, is allowing for storage of a liquid, and as well as allowing you to transport the liquid to wherever you want to go. And that is my definition of bottle. And the third word, brick. Brick. B-R-I-C-K. Brick. Brick. Now again, you have the noun and you have the verb. Now what is my definition of a brick? A brick is a block, a rectangular block. You mainly see bricks on the exterior of a building, on the outer proportions of the buildings that are visible. Those, you mainly see bricks there. They form the structure of the building, as well as are visible for you to see them. They keep the building together. They practically are the building. It's a combination of other components, but the main components, the main elements of a building are bricks, and they are rectangular in shape. There is a various amount of numbers of bricks out there, various types of bricks out there, from bricks that are made from clay, bricks that are made from limestone, bricks that are made from stone, bricks that are made from granite. So there's so many different types of bricks out there. And here, what I see so many different types of bricks. There's bricks. There are brick walls. There are brick walls that align the perimeter of a house or some kind of premises, and then you have the brick walls that are part of the building itself. And like I said, there's many types of bricks out there, from limestone bricks to concrete bricks to the orange colored bricks. Those are baked bricks. They can last for thousands and thousands of years. If you look at the ancient buildings, buildings from antiquity times, they are all comprised of bricks that were manufactured and built thousands and thousands of years ago. That's how strong they are. That's how durable they are to withstand so much time. I mean, you're talking thousands of years and you can still see them. A good example of bricks. I wouldn't necessarily call them bricks, but they have those brick-like tendencies, brick-like characteristics. Again, if I am wrong here, please correct me. The pyramids. If you look at the pyramids, they use blocks, but are those they somewhat have brick-like characteristics, but I cannot really define the bricks in that way as comparing them to the pyramids. So another thing, what I can compare them to if you go to Rome, and you see bricks from thousands of years ago. Those bricks were built thousands of years ago and they're still around today. As a matter of fact, Rome was one of the first societies to create such durable bricks to what we have today, where these bricks are so strong, you can put thousands and thousands of tons of weight on them and they still stand up strong. They still keep the building upright, right? And again, there's two definitions in the dictionary. You have the noun and then you have the verb. If you give me a second, I'll just go find them. So a brick is BRICK. The noun. The noun is the first definition is a small, hard block of baked clay used to build walls. A small, hard block of baked clay used to build walls. Number 2 is a rectangular block of something. A rectangular block of something. And now you have the verb brick something up, to block an entrance or window with bricks. Brick something up, to block an entrance or window with bricks. See, again, it's to do with the context there. It depends on the situation that's occurring. If you're gonna say brick something up, and I can understand what they mean by brick the entrance up. You be out. You say, I'll give you a scenario. I'm just out with a group of friends. I'm just working or something. I'm on a construction site. Yeah, I'm on a construction site, and we've come across an anomaly, and the construction worker, my fellow construction worker, says to me, "Brick it up," meaning, well, you can build a brick wall around it. So it depends on the context of what's been said there, where the verb is being used. Brick something up, to block an entrance or window with bricks. I mean, you can define people. I mean, if you were to get big giant people, the big strong muscular individuals, and you line them up, you could say that's a brick wall, because that's a wall. That's a wall of human. That's a brick wall of human beings, right? You can define it in that way, and again, that's what they mean by the verb. But the actual object, the actual thing itself, the brick, is rectangular in shape. I mean, you can get squared bricks. I mean, like I said, you can get square bricks. I'm pretty sure you can get squared bricks, but the most common used bricks that I have come across are rectangular in shape. Again, they stack them on top of each other, and this forms an element, a structure, a cohesive element which transfers load all the way down into the earth, holding the building upright. And when combined in 4 sections, it forms four walls, which then make the walls of the building, and then you put a triangular shaped roof on top, and then you have a house, right? You have a complete building, and it serves the purpose as a house, as a home where people can live in. It keeps the elements out. You see, that's one of the best things about bricks. It's like it also keeps it also keeps the elements out. You know, if it's constructed the right way, if it has all the right elements, it will keep the conditions within habitable for people. Again, if you look at my animations, that's somewhat very basic, simple brick wall, but the most common bricks I've come across are rectangular in shape, and they've said here a small hard block of baked clay used to build walls, a rectangular block of something. So, but I'm pretty sure you can get squared bricks out there. I mean, can you get triangular bricks out there? I mean, you can flip the triangle. You can flip the triangle upside down and stack them next to each other that way, but that necessarily wouldn't define as a brick. I don't know. You're gonna have to let me know there. So again, you have various types of bricks out there, from the most simple ones, you know, clay bricks, concrete bricks, granite bricks made of stones. Whenever you are in the neighborhood or walking wherever, just look at some of those small brick walls. That's a brick right there. If you whenever you're walking about and you see, whenever you're walking in a neighborhood and just you're looking around, look at the walls of the houses. Those are bricks that form the wall, as well as look at the perimeter fence. Those as well might be bricks. It depends, because some perimeter fences are made of wooden fences or even hedges. So whenever you are walking around, just look for bricks. Bricks are rectangular in shape, and you see the brick. And now the fourth word. Making some steady good progress for this. The fourth word. You're gonna have to bear with me, guys. I'm still organizing things here. I'm still reconfiguring the system here. It's very tedious. It's interesting, but I'm trying to find the most optimal way of first and foremost setting up my system. You know, right now I've got the microphone in front of my face. I don't know whether I should put it to the side, because it's like I'm talking to myself at the same time, but I'm talking into a microphone. So is it better for me to put the microphone to the side? What does it sound like? You know, I'm trying to be more very well articulated at the same time, as well as trying to think of things of what to say, because it's new for me as well. It's new for me. I've never done this before, so it's a learning experience. At the same time, I'm trying to configure the system here. I don't know how this sounds. Should I put the microphone in front? Should I twist the microphone? I've got one of those blue Yeti microphones, and I've also got the sound it's that the thing that stops it from popping. I've got that as well attached to the Yeti microphone, but it's very loose. It's one of those cheap ones that's not very flexible, so I'm having to twist it back in position every now and then, and that's kind of a problem. At the same time, I'm having to try and define these words for you in the best way that I could. So I'm still configuring this whole system on, so you're gonna have to bear with me. So I'm terribly sorry for the quality here, but again, these are the first days, and it's fun. It's very fun. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is the third one that I've made so far, and I'm having to create the art myself. I'm learning in that context, as well as having to record all this and try to configure this as well, and that's fun as well as uploading those words earlier in the week, and that's fun as well. So if you have any feedback, that would be great. Good or bad feedback, I really do not mind. Again, getting back to the summary here, the fourth word is chair, excuse me. So you have the noun again, and then you have the verb. What is my definition of chair? An object that you can sit on. You can sit down in a chair. I'm pretty sure. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I admit I'm wrong. If you are listening to this, at some point you are sat down in a chair. You could be sat down on the floor. You can be sat down on a stool. You can be sat down on a bench. But the majority of times, the majority of the 24 hours that we all get, at some point we will sit down on a chair. And again, a chair is an object that you can sit down on. But it's the way that the chair is shaped. It's the way that it's structured that makes it a chair. I just mentioned a stool, a bench, or maybe even the floor. You can sit down on a stool. You can sit down on a bench. You can sit down on a chair. You can sit down on the floor. Excuse me. I don't know why I was gonna say a chair then, but so those are three other situations where you are sat down, and like I said, at some point during the week, you will sit down on a chair. You might not, you might sit down on a log. So another example is a log, but a chair, the definition of the chair is a movable seat with a back for one person. A movable seat with a back for one person. But it's the way that the chair is. It's the way that the chair has been designed. It's the way that it visually looks. I mean, if you look at a bench, you can sit. Loads of people can sit on a bench. It's long in length and has loads of space for many people to sit down. But a chair is for one individual. A movable seat with a back for one person. A movable seat with a back for one person. If you look at my illustration, very simple. I've kept it very simple this week. Very simple illustration of a chair. Only one person can sit on that chair. But if you are in a situation where there's many of you, you can technically share that chair. One person sits on one half, the other person sits on the other half. I know that's going to be very uncomfortable, but you can technically share the chair. But a chair is an object that you can sit on and rest your back. It has four legs as well as a back section. I don't know what that section of a chair is called, and I feel quite embarrassed not knowing what that rear section where you rest your back on a chair is called. But yeah, you can rest your back on the chair and sit down and go about your daily business. And at some point throughout your lifespan, throughout your entire life, you would have sat down on a chair somewhere. Somewhere you'd have sat down on a chair. You could have made a makeshift chair. When you find a huge when you find a rock or something and you carve it out to be a chair. You know what I mean? If you look at the Game of Thrones throne, the Game of Thrones throne. The first Game of Thrones, right? If you look at the throne itself, that's a chair. I know it's a throne, but it has chair-like characteristics. It's got that back section. It's got the armrests as well, and it's made out of. It has swords and whatnot impelled in the back. But you can define that as a chair. Only one person can sit in that chair, and you have looking at the dictionary. You have two nouns: a movable seat with a back for one person. The second one is the person who is in charge of a meeting. Depends on the context there. The person who is in charge of a meeting. Again, context, situation. That's a chair. And then going on to the verb section. Verb definition. To chair a meeting is to be in charge of it and run it. To chair a meeting is to be in charge of it and run it. Chair. C-H-A-I-R. Chair. C-H-A-I-R. And the fifth and final word. Mug. M-U-G. Mug. As you can see in the illustration, it's a container. I've just been speaking about a bottle, something that is used to contain liquid. Again, a mug is used to contain a liquid, as can be seen in the simple illustration there. A mug is used to contain a liquid, a beverage, a very warm beverage. Mugs are usually used for tea and coffee. If you are a tea and coffee person, you at some point you would have drunk your tea or your coffee in a mug. Now you can have in today's, and it's very surprising because I was born in the 90s, right? And it wasn't very common back then, but then again, I'm still growing up and learning. You can have hot tea and cold tea. You can have hot coffee and cold coffee. And that's just something that's very much, again, if I'm wrong here, please do correct me. It seems to me as it's something that's just that is very much new, that has become more modern, where you are having cold coffee, cold tea, as well as hot tea and hot coffee in a mug. Again, I've just been speaking about a container. And again, the purpose of a mug, it's an object where you contain the beverage that you're about to consume. What I would normally do is make a lovely tea, some tea bag, a bit of milk, 1 teaspoon of sugar, and as I'm doing my work, sip on that very slowly. And by the time I get down to the bottom of the mug, the tea itself has cooled down in temperature. When I first start drinking the tea, it's very warm, it's very hot, and I have to just take little tiny sips so it does not burn my tongue. By the time I get down to the bottom, it's a nice cool temperature, and that's what a mug does. It has a handle on it, as you can see, where you can grab the mug and lift it in the air, and of course, drink the beverage, whatever you having. Again, a mug isn't technically just used for tea or coffee, but that's the general usage. That's what it tends to be commonly used for. You can put some water, you can put some H2O in a mug and consume and drink the water from a mug. I've got a big giant mug next to my desk. It has a handle in it. It's white and pink in color. It's empty at the moment because I'm not drinking anything, but the whole purpose of the object itself is to store a beverage that I'm about to consume then and there. Whereas in a bottle, I can store the beverage for days, months, years, thousands of years. Yes, I think you can store a beverage in a bottle for thousands of years. I'm pretty sure somewhere out there in the world, I know I've read an article somewhere. From times of antiquity, they've still got liquids that are still in liquid state that have been stored in these bottles somewhere out there. I don't know what culture it is, and I don't want to be too technical, but I read this somewhere on the internet, and it was some kind of one of those internet articles where people just write anything for views, right? But I'm pretty sure, I am certain you can store liquids for hundreds of years, for thousands of years. I don't know. We'll see. For tens of thousands of years, who knows? For millions of years. If you look at planet Earth, right? There's a liquid on planet Earth that's been here for millions of years, and that's H2O. Where is it being stored, right? On the planet. Is the planet a bottle? Can you define planet Earth as a bottle? I don't know. Somebody tell me out there, because again, the whole purpose of a bottle is to store a liquid that can be transferred as well to wherever you want to go. But the whole purpose of a bottle is to store the liquid so it's not exposed to the elements. But if you look out there on the planet, if you go out into the world, out into nature, I mean, there's a liquid that's vast in quantity, and it's been stored where on the planet. So I mean, if you look at it from I don't want to say whether abstract or something. I don't know. Can you define a planet as a bottle? Let me know, guys. But I'm gonna read the definitions here from the dictionary. So you've got the noun mug, MUG, noun, a kind of large, straight-sided cup. A kind of large, straight-sided cup. And then you have British informal, a fool, a person who is easily fooled or cheated. And then you have 3, informal, a person's face. Interesting. A person's face, and those are the noun definitions of mug. Again, I'll repeat those because I made an error there. So sorry, apologies for that. Mug is MUG, a kind of large, straight-sided cup. A kind of large, straight-sided cup. And then you have 2, British informal, a fool, a person who is easily fooled or cheated. And then you have informal, a person's face. And now moving on to verb. To attack and rob someone in the street. To attack and rob someone in the street. Ooh, mug. Interesting. To attack and rob someone in the street. Mugger. Noun. Mugs, mugging, mugged. I see what they mean. When somebody tells you, "I've just been mugged, mate," it means they've been robbed, unfortunately, by some muggers. Horrible, but again, it depends on the scenario, on the situation itself. Again, that defines the verb of mug. Again, like I've said, mug is a object that you can contain a liquid within that you are about to consume. I mean, you can pour a liquid into a mug and leave it out in the open, but at some point it will vaporize. It will turn into a gas. So because of the open section, the void of the mug, it will become a vapor. So it's not for permanent storage. For permanent storage, you have a bottle, and I'm pretty sure out there's bottles that were created thousands of years ago that still have liquids from thousands of years ago. That's quite interesting, and I would like to see what type of liquids they've got there thousands of years ago. What kind of liquids they use, what kind of beverages they used to consume back then, what kind of uses they had for the different liquids back then. But even now, I mean, today, especially in today's world, because we're so modern and so technical, I mean, they're using the type of bottles, the type of mugs they're making today. I mean, my mug it's a giant mug. It's very big. I can consume a lot of tea and coffee in this mug. If you look at the illustration, that's also a giant mug there, right? As well as bottles. The bottles of today are very strong and durable, as well as you have bottles that are made of plastic. So it's quite interesting. Very interesting stuff. So I am very much enjoying this, having to upload the words earlier during the week and then defining them this way. I'm still, like I've said, guys, I'm still configuring this out. I'm still trying to work out the best way. I'm still organizing myself. It's a learning experience for myself, as well as I hope you guys are learning something from me. I'm trying my best to be a teacher here. It's quite interesting, but I hope you guys are enjoying the series so far. So the first 5 days of the week, Monday to Friday, I upload a word on there, and then on Sunday I define the word, as well as some simple illustrations to show what the word is, as well as I try to give my own definition. it's good to have your own somewhat definition, but at the same time, you also want to take other people's definitions so you're able to configure it and collaborate, and to edit and find the best way to define it for yourself. And for me, a mug is an object where you can store a beverage temporarily. If I wake up in the morning, first thing I'll have is a nice cup of tea. Did you know in the UK, right? In the UK, there's about 100 million cups of tea that are consumed. 63 billion cups of tea that are consumed a year. So you have 100 million cups of tea that are consumed daily, and then 63 cups of tea that are consumed a year. Think about how many mugs there are out there. I know I said cup, again, a mug is a cup, right? Like I've just said there, a mug is let me see. Yeah, a mug is a cup. I had to confirm it there. A mug is a cup, but that's how much tea is loved out in the UK. But it's not just in the UK where people love tea, but that's just some fact. I did some research that I looked at a few weeks ago, and I thought I'd just add that into there. So again, for me, this is fun. It's a learning experience. I'm still configuring things out here. There's more to come. I just don't want to keep the channel. I just don't want to keep the channel, to do with what, to do with just I don't want it to be too. It's not boring what I'm doing, but it becomes a bit tedious after a while. It just becomes repetitive, and I don't want to be repetitive. So this is why I decided to do the summary at the end, then rather than define the word and then put an image on there and then try defining it that way, because then it becomes repetitive, as well as me having to do the illustrations is good as well, because they're interesting. If you look at the illustrations, that they I'm having to design them, so I'm having to it's a learning experience for me at the same time. And I want them to be complicated, but I also want them to be simple. Even the simplest thing can explain something very complex, or the complex thing can explain something very simple, right? So they cancel each other out, So I'm trying to configure this still at the moment. So I don't want to be repetitive with the content that I'm uploading on here. So I'm looking at other things as well that I'm gonna upload on here. And it's just not words. It's not just teaching people words. There's other aspects of teaching people that I'm gonna upload on here. So that concludes summary number 3 for this week. So I'm not sure, because what I'm thinking of doing is I do 3 weeks where I define the words as well as upload the summary, and then the 4th week I upload a few, if you look at the other content on the channel, I've done a bit of gaming and whatnot. In that 4th week I upload some gaming videos, some of my favorite gaming, other activities. So again, I'm still thinking of doing it that way, just to break the routine a little bit, to turn it on and off, So I don't know, maybe next week I might upload a few gaming videos on there. So we'll see how it comes out. So because I don't want to be repetitive. I don't want to be linear. I don't want to be 1, 2, 3, 4, because it just becomes repetitive after a while. So I think it's good to switch up every now and then. So you might get word videos next week, or you might get game videos next week, because it's one of those weeks. And this technically, next week concludes the first 4 weeks of the channel. So again, I'm still configuring things out. So I'll see you guys on the next installment. See you. This is me signing out. See ya.